Hey everyone, welcome to Youth Bombs. I'm Craig.
And I'm Olivia.
And we're the voice of young conservatives in Alachua County, looking at some fundamental misdeeds with the Alachua County School Board. Olivia, you have challenged a number of inappropriate books on their shelves, and they've treated you rather poorly. What can you tell us about that?
Yeah, so Alachua County School Board is providing books to children ages elementary school to high school that discuss topics such as transgenderism and other sexual content. So me, along with a parent, Dr. Crystal Moreau, we've challenged some books, and they have been pretty nasty about it. They've requested like my address and stuff like that, and threatened to like send it out to reporters. I know to another woman they actually did do that, and they like went through her personal like public records history who tried to challenge books. In our previous episode, we went a little more in depth about how they're just trying to basically like bully people out of like challenging books. But they have removed some of the books that we've challenged, but most of them they've kept. And the ones that they've kept still have explicit sexual content in them.
Yeah, it's certainly disheartening to see that they're breaking the law. They don't care. They know it. We know it. Everybody knows it. But they get away with it because they run the school board. They run the library advisory committee. So they can just do whatever they want. And that's really unfortunate because we know that the Parental Rights and Education Act outlaws this inappropriate material for children in these libraries. Now, that being said, they've also gone further and created an LGBTQ plus support guide, which they've since deleted from their website. Fortunately, we have backups. Now, this item really pushes students towards a number of organizations that support sex changes for minors, such as the Trevor Project and the Human Rights Campaign. Now, the Trevor Project, something to note, is the Trevor Space scandal, in which we had adults soliciting sexual activity from minors and advising them on how to use drugs like minoxidil, a hair growth drug that is used with those with gender dysphoria. So certainly you don't want these people near the kids, okay? Because we have 24, 25-year-olds soliciting 13-year-olds on that website. Very bad, very dangerous. Olivia, do you feel like this says a lot about what the Trevor Project is and the fact that they're trying to cover this up?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, these are people who are founding it and, supporting it and pushing it through. And it doesn't take a lot of research to look into it. You just look up the Trevor Project scandals and they just pop up with a simple Google search. And the problems that people have with these books aren't necessarily about that it's discussing characters who are part of that LGBTQ community. It's all the sexual details and implications that come with it. That's the real issue here, and the clear moral grounds of encouraging transgenderism and sex changes and encouraging gender dysphoria amongst the youth. That's what people are angry about.
Mm-hmm, absolutely. And we know that these sex change procedures are deeply harmful to minors. They cause numerous physical and mental health defects like heart attacks, depression, osteoporosis, and more. The data's out there and we know it. A lot of doctors have been commenting on this, and it's really a shame that these organizations are out there harming children, advocating for the harm of children, and working on this issue, the school board, in fact, to partner with these organizations. So another example of this is the Gender Sexuality Alliances in the Alachua County Schools. Now, this is sponsored by an organization called GLSEN, which supports sex change surgeries for minors and advocates for hiding identity changes from parents. So if the child comes to school and is saying, I'm a girl, even though they're a biological male, they want to keep that secret from the parents. That's what they advocate for. Very bad stuff. And they're also trying to integrate LGBT curricula into all aspects of the school. So, for example, math, English, science, history, places where it doesn't belong, especially math. I mean, that's just ridiculous. So we have one book, and Olivia, you can perhaps comment on this, Beyond Magenta, which describes a 6-year-old engaging in sexual activity. What can you tell us about that book?
It just details a child engaging in sexual acts. There was another book, I can't remember if it was the Beyond Magenta one or yet another book that talked about, I think it was yet another book, something with boy in the title, that talked about a young teenage boy engaging in those types of acts with an adult. So these are clear things that, children don't have the cognitive ability to understand, and they shouldn't be exposed to. Now, if you want to expose a child to the fact that people come from different backgrounds and, and not everyone's the same, that's fine. And you could do it in a clear moral way that leaves out the sexual content. What I think we really need to be looking into as a society as a whole is, why has academia become obsessed with sexual identity and just sexual details and sexuality in particular, and targeting it against or targeting it for youth? I think that's something that people need to really look into. It's really disturbing. And also the continuing of encouraging kids to make these life-altering changes without notifying their parents. That's a clear example of trying to break apart the nuclear family. And, schools should just be about learning math, learning reading, writing, comprehensive skills, and learning how to be a better person, learning how to be a better professional when they go off and go into college and into the real world. And obviously schools have failed that. I mean, look at people like Gen Z people now. They have horrible communication skills. Depression is at the highest in our generation, even though we have the most resources. And, the list goes on and on with social issues related to Gen Z. The dynamics between men and women, I think, are completely eroded for millennials and Gen Z people in traditional relationships. So there's a lot of issues that they can't be focusing on, yet they really want to push the sexual content, and they really want to push transgenderism and gender ideology.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And with that being said, it's a continued push for this material. So another referenced organization is PFLAG, which has a chapter here in Gainesville. They target the youth. They have a transgender reading list for children. So they're continuing to push this ideology onto kids, even though it's deeply harmful. They know it, we know it, everybody knows it, but they continue to do it because it's a part of their fundamental ideology. They don't care. They just want to push their agenda. Now, most concerningly is that the Alachua County School Board, in their LGBTQ guide, refers students to the UF Gender Clinic. Now, this clinic performs gender hormone treatment for children as long as they had a prescription prior to May 18th, 2023. So they can still get these prescriptions because they weren't fully outlawed. Governor DeSantis did good work on this in blocking future prescriptions, but it's still fundamentally harmful for these children to continue getting these prescriptions, which, as we said, cause depression, heart attacks, issues with bone growth, seizures, strokes, and more. So fundamentally harmful. And we know that the school board should be doing better. They are responsible for the children. We have an obligation to hold their feet to the fire. They have to be accountable. They have to do a better job. They're not doing their job. They are instead focused on ridiculous gender ideology and transgenderism. It needs to stop because it's fundamentally harmful for the children. So I say get out and vote for alternative candidates who are going to stop this, because this is absolutely degenerate and it needs to stop immediately. Olivia, any closing thoughts?
Yeah, I would encourage parents to go down to school board meetings. I know that sometimes people don't want to go out there and put themselves out there because they're afraid of any backlash for speaking out against it. But these people aren't afraid to be speaking out again or speaking out for topics such as pushing kids to go to a gender clinic. You know what I mean? So don't feel bad about going in there and speaking up against it.
Absolutely. Challenge the books. Don't give them an inch because they are doing a horrible job with the children instead of fixing our failing and near failing schools in the district. It's an absolute disaster and it's going to change. That being said, thank you everyone so much for watching. We really appreciate it. We upload every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 1 p.m. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And if you'd like to reach out to us, feel free at youthbombs@alachuarepublicans.com. Thanks so much, everyone.
See you later.